What's up, guys? Joker here. Shaved off my beard, finally. But that's not the point of the video. I mean, that is a point, but it's not the point of the video. Um, so yeah, I wanted to talk about the Dungeons and Trials. I said I would talk about it in a new video. So I'm gonna say their names. I don't think it's really that big of a spoiler that much, especially since, well, I talked about it. And if you're watching this video, well, here's a disclaimer. I'm gonna say their names. The spoiler. When you think about it as a spoiler, then it's a spoiler. So yeah. 81 dungeon is Tower of Za. It's the first one. Sorry. Thought it thought it was a really cool dungeon. You know, you finally go into one of the towers and you actually do something in there. Um I thought it was really cool aesthetically, you know, just the whole design, the different enemy types, even though they were the same for the most part, just like tempered enemies and stuff like that. But I really liked it. I thought the boss mechanics of the Magus sisters was really were really cool. I mean, all three battles were really good, and you know, the first time seeing it, it was like, oh, what the hell is going on? The first sister, where she has her different magic attacks and shoots it, you have to just know what they do. um I mean, after doing it after my first attempt, it's kind of just been cake. The middle sister, she was a joke basically. I can't even remember anything special she really did. Well, it wasn't that difficult. The third fight, though, seeing it for the first time was just crazy. I mean, to say the least. Where like the third sister is reflecting everything, all the attacks are going over all over the place. Your entire like area is just red because it's just so many AOE's going off and stuff like that. It was kind of crazy just dealing with that in the beginning, and then you know you kind of just settle in. You target the fat sister and you kill her, and then you can kill them in any other order after that. But you usually go for the little kid one because she fires off different magic, and then you go for the tall one. Um, so yeah, liked it a lot. I thought it was a great dungeon, great introduction into Endwalker. And then 83 Tower Babel. Um, you know, I thought the beginning part was really cool with the train, and you know, you're with Lise and all these other people you saw from Stormblood. Uh, really like that part, bringing them in. You know, people you haven't seen since Stormblood, so I think that was really a cool thing. Seeing that, and then you know, throughout the entirety of the dungeon, you would see them because they're fighting. You know, not with you per se, but you know, they're on. You can see them in the area. um you know, the first boss, I thought was, you know, it's a basic boss. You know, it's, you know, dodge this red shot. It was like the mechanical monkey guy. It was pretty basic. Don't Not gonna fault over that. The second boss, though, that was really good. I mean, the different mechanic where you have to shrink yourself and then go into a toad, I thought that was really cool. um Again, not really that challenging, but just a nice little cool gimmick to dodging the big AoEs that are coming off all over the place. Um, so yeah, and then the final part of that was Anima. I'll still stand by that. I thought it was disappointing that Anima was a dungeon boss and how it was. It doesn't matter that it. I will say that though it was a really cool fight, battling in the chaos world. Battling just seeing it for the first time, and it's kind of interesting. I played both these dungeons multiple times since playing it the first time, and they they're just dungeons. You know, you just go out and you go do them. Um, so yeah, and then you go all the way until 89. So it's 81, 83, and then you wait all the way to 89. I remember checking the Shadowbringers dungeons just as a guide to see how they're going to structure. It was the same structure in both between the trials and dungeons. So I guess I'll go what was in between them. It was Zodiac. I'm pretty sure it was 83 for Zodiac. Yeah, it was 83. Um, like I've already said that early in my early impressions of Shadowwingers. I thought of Endwalker. Sorry. You know, it was kind of disappointing seeing Zodiac that early, but you know, the fight for me was really fun because I 8-man tanked. I'll probably upload it later on YouTube. I gotta download all the videos and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the fight was it was interesting for me. I haven't done it since. But yeah, I thought that was really fun doing it with eight tanks. It was a really interesting experience, and we ended up beating them. Uh, I don't think anyone would fault us for doing that because literally the time I was doing it, it was all tanks and Endwalker. There were barely any healers, barely any DPS. And now you see it, you go like just a few days after that, and it was like the inverse. Now it's I mean not now because most people are through that area now, but I think it was I want to say Sunday. I checked it and it was like all DPS. There were no tanks and there were no healers. So the moral of it is there's no healers playing this game apparently. Um, but yeah, I really liked it. I like the rotating mechanic. You just have to see it one time, like I said before, and then you basically get what you need to do. The thing that always got me was the little swipe not back mechanic. That was like basically majority of the arena. That always tripped me up. I should have just remembered to keep arms lengthening off that, because then you're safe. Um, like I said, the rotating thing, that was a kind of interesting mechanic. You know, but again, you see it and you basically know where to go. Either when it's diagonal or where it's on one side, you know where to go. Um, I gotta refresh that when I do extreme because I might kill myself a bunch of times. But at least I'll have a healer this time. So there's that. Yeah. What else about Zodiac? I like the aesthetic of Zodiac, and it kind of makes sense how you're able to kill him kind of easily because he's not like fully back. He's like halfway at his strength basically. Um, so I loved the trial, loved doing it. It was a real fun experience, especially with 8 tanks. That was an interesting experience, to say the least. But yeah, so after that, it was the 89 dungeon. And I really liked this dungeon. I thought honestly this was the best dungeon out of all of them, and it comes from the aesthetic, the crystal. You're in that crystal world and stuff like that. You know, there was great callbacks. Like I said in the last video, everyone is here. You know, you see like, and this is a spoiler for the dungeon. This is a spoiler also for the story. I'm gonna blatantly see it, so you can skip through. I'll throw this up and you can come back. So yeah, I mean, you know, you see Horshaphant's like spirit come back and protect you. You see Papa Limo's spirit come back and help you too. I mean, I thought that was really cool. It's about bringing back everyone you saw through this experience of this arc, you know, the Heidelin Zodiac chapter. And, you know, you even saw, you know, Livia transformed into some like creature because she's holding on to that hate and despair and she's still like in this spirit realm. Um, so that was cool seeing her there. The Cape Westwind guy, he wasn't that easy to kill anymore, but he was still easy to kill. I mean, he was also easy. I found it kind of interesting how they have like one joke boss and then one like, you know, interesting mechanic boss. Livia was kind of the interesting mechanic. I mean, I can't remember that dude's name. How to say it, but like Cape Westwind dude. I'm pretty sure he was the one where it's like it was basically the same as Som Al, where like the unicorn would come. Only this time you have like a more obvious place where you go to dodge that like move. So I thought that was cool. I mean, that was like I'm pretty sure that was him and not Livia. I might be making a mistake about that, but yeah, I mean both the fights were pretty easy to go through. I'm pretty sure I didn't even die on either one, which was kind of funny because I died on the other ones. And then it was I have in my notes how many times do we have to how many times do we have to kill you, old man? Because the last boss was Amon. Um, so yeah, I mean you had to fight him a third time. He had more interesting, different mechanics. It was whatever because I didn't wipe on that one. I was like okay, at least I don't remember I didn't wipe on that one. I'm pretty sure we didn't wipe on that. But yeah, so throw this up. I mean, we back. Yeah, I mean, really liked it. Really enjoyed the dungeon, and I also say aesthetically it was good. I think the callbacks and the story that was contained inside the dungeon, I think that's what tops it and makes it like just better. Um, than the next dungeon I'm gonna talk about. Yeah, so I think I'll just go in order. So 89 trial was Heidelin. Um, really liked it. I thought the fight was really cool. I mean, if I had to rank the trials, I think the Highland one would be the best one out of them. I liked again, like I'm gonna go back to the aesthetic. I liked the different mechanics. I thought it was honestly, I thought it was the more challenging fight. even though I wiped one time, and in Zodiac well, Zodiac I wiped a lot because we were 8 tanks. So this time I had an actual party. We wiped one time, went through it, done. Just like in the next trial, we only wiped one time too. So it's just most of these trials, especially on normal, it just comes down to seeing the mechanics. You get it, and then you just go through it and just kill the boss. Um, I really liked it. I thought it was a real cool fight. I'm not gonna really go too depth into it. But the whole red, green, blue thing was kind of cool. I mean, if you're colorblind, you're kind of fucked. But um, when you, I don't know. Yeah, if you're colorblind, you're basically fucked for that fight. But it's not that bad. If you're a tank or healer, I mean, if you're a tank, you'll live through it. Um, but yeah, I mean, the also, but like some of the stuff is kind of easy, like the crystal part where you have to kill that. That was pretty easy to like just manage to just avoid her mega attack when she's like when you're trying to destroy the crystals. It wasn't really that bad. Um, but yeah, I mean, some people might struggle. It's just different levels. I mean, especially with the people that are making up your party. Really like the fight. Loved every second about it, and then especially what happened after. And then now we go to the 90 dungeon and the 90 trial. The final, I talked about it in the other video, but my final thoughts. The dead ends. I thought it's so close. I think honestly, the dead ends is probably gonna be more people's favorite dungeon because it tells a really cool story. Mechanically, it's kind of crazy too. With some of the fights where the first fight is like, okay, so this world was consumed by poison. They ostracized the people like lepers who got the poison, and the thing you fight in the boss battle is some poison entity, and it can be really easy to die from that poison because if you get hit once, don't heal, especially if you're a paladin. Just like be like, okay, I got hit once, now let me go walk around. Don't get hit multiple times because that part still like has to go through me. It's like, okay, I gotta just like keep dodging, but he has really low health because of that mechanic, I'm pretty sure. What's also kind of funny is the last time I just did it today is we three-manned it because the dude died, and then one of the DPS, he died and then respawned. So there's just me, a black mage, and a white mage, and we just downed them like with 3 people, which was pretty funny. And then the next boss, where it's like, okay, in this world where basically like a world war happening on 2 sides, and you're fighting this like robot that's like shooting all these missiles all over the place. You have to dodge. I mean, that's really the aesthetic of those two. I mean, really, actually, all 3 of them. It's just like you have to really dodge the mechanics, otherwise you just get deleted. Also, make sure on the second fight you have the tank on one side, just because there's some attacks that will just blast the tank. Um, but yeah, what happened was like the dude was like 1 second, and I didn't see that, and I pulled him. He died, and then we three-manned it until he got rezzed back. But it's kind of funny. It's like you can like three-man these fights, because it's like it basically what it just came down to in both those fights is just dodge or have a healer that's competent. Um, and we had both, and then but that was a recent time. The first time, I think we wiped the first boss, the second boss, and the third boss one time each. But again, it's like it's not really that big a deal when you're seeing these mechanics for the first time. Um, yeah, I mean, now the third boss, it was a different world. It was kind of weird. It was like they wanted to die, so they created this weird beast that just killed them. Um, I don't even know what to say about that. And then, it's just the boss is really freaking easy. Like this third boss, like all his attacks are prancing, so you have to dodge the AoEs he creates. Laser down the middle, just dodge it, and then he creates these butterflies out of that laser down the middle. Um, you just have to look at the butterflies, and they have arrows below it, and because if you get hit, you have doom, and you're done. That's basically the hardest mechanic in that fight. Besides that, it's really easy, and like I said, all three of those fights just come down to dodging. I think that's why I take it down a bit, because the mechanics really just come down in all three of those fights to just dodging, and it's really just one thing. Um, but yeah, so those were the main dungeon ones. The final day, that trial was really sick. We wiped because the other tank, he popped the LB3 way before you needed to pop LB3, and we got obliterated. But yeah, I mean, most of those I think it was probably the more basic one. That it's like it's something you've seen more often in terms of mechanics. They were more easy to dodge and stuff like that and get through. Literally, the hardest thing was just making sure your tank LB3'd. I think that's honestly the hardest thing. Also, when she was like charging up her big ether attack or whatever, it was just coming. It was pretty easy to dodge those attacks, but that's also a pretty hard part, I would say. Some of the other mechanics, like when you're trying to figure out the world where it's going through, you have to dodge that. I mean, it's kind of funny how both 90s, it's like you basically just have to dodge, but you could literally say that for everything. But yeah, so there are two dungeons you get after you beat the entire game. These usually happen. Um, One is like a Chuck E. Cheese world that went wrong or something like that, and then the other is the robot world. You have to go in and fix the AI. The Chuck E. Cheese world, I think, was like kind of just like funny because it was like it wasn't really that bad, but it was just a funny one because it's the Lorapons and they're like a comic relief. They were like going through this world and they're like, "How do we get out of here?" So I thought that was kind of funny. The machine world I thought was kind of interesting too. You got to see more Omegas, which is kind of funny. They were like just throwing out Omegas. So I mean, both of them I thought they were good, but they're not the main appetite. They're both like kind of like a dessert course and the main entrees you had already. So it's like, yeah. I mean, I guess that's the best way you can say it. So for me, both 89 Dungeon and Trial, I thought they were the best. The Heidelin, both of them, I thought aesthetically, mechanically, I loved both of them. Um, so yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the dungeons. Please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Until next time, see you later. Bye.